Hello and welcome to the video of how to play Wutaki. I'm David from Hodari Spiele and I'm the designer of Wutaki. I will show you the gameplay and an overview of Wutaki and what you can do. Please keep in mind I'm not a native speaker, so be gentle to me. Okay, first the story of Wutaki. There's turmoil in the small village of Wutaki. The villagers worship Buka, a gigantic monster living under the mighty volcano, as their god. Now exactly this volcano is threatening to erupt in a huge explosion. The Wutakians believe they have angered the holy creature. The leaders of the rival tribes send subordinate workers to various places in the kingdom to collect offerings and present them to the creature to appease Buka's wrath. Each tribal elder wields power over a mighty tower that controls one of the four elements: fire, water, wind, and earth. At the same time, doubts are spreading among the Wutakians. Is Buka not a god at all, but only a creature living under a terrible mountain? Dark omens make their way to Wutaki and split the tribes. Some tribal elders long for the end of the world to put an end to the old faith. The great battle for the future of all Wutakians has begun. You will slip into the role of one of the powerful tribal elders. Use the elemental powers to your advantage and face the challenges that awaits you. Use your workers skillfully to gather resources and omens, increase your followers, upgrade your tower and the places you visit, fulfill pacts and outplay the other tribal chiefs strategically. Hello, my name is David. I'm the designer and I will show you around right here on Tabletopia. So what do we see? We see the main board. We see every player's player board, his master board, their loyal workers, their upgrade tokens, their start resources. Everyone gets one token of each resource. We see secret pacts. We see the characters, some upgrade cards for your tower, and the starting player marker. Here are some player aids that you can look at. They're in English and both sides, and some in German if you're interested in them. On the main board we see some round cards, the final scoring, your turn actions. We see the pack cards, which I can just demonstrate right here. There are always 4 on the open display. We see the normal locations you can visit. We see omen cards, which are basically your action cards, which I will explain later. Then we see some revenge cards that are bad for you. You really don't want to have them. And we see the large monster, which we will try to offer some resources. So let's get into it. Wutaki is a worker placer game with a high player interaction. I think we have a very fresh theme with some nice new illustrations here. Let's just show you the board very quick. So first, let's look at the game setup and player setup. When you open Tabletopia, you will see exactly what you see here, except for the 4 pacts I've put here and the omen card, which I will put back. So the game is already set up. You see 4 different players set up. So we'll just look at the green one and see what you will get. So at the start of the game, you get 4 loyal workers. You get 6 upgrade tokens. You get 1 of each resource. You get a player board, 1 cost marker, which will indicate how in which resource your workers will be paid later. Here you will put your character, which we can draw right now. Just look at it. We got the wind character named Xulu. I will explain that later. So here we have 2 slots to put tower upgrade cards. Here you will find the additional workers. And here is a master board, which is in fact a double layer board with an asymmetrical and a symmetrical side. For the first few plays, I will always recommend using the symmetrical side. So what do you get at the beginning? You will get a character, which is a secret information. You will get 2 secret pacts. You will get 2 omen cards, which you will take on your hand. Now you will look at both secret pacts. These just say have the largest stock of this resource. There are many different ones, and you will choose one, and the other one simply goes back to the pile. These two omen cards you keep for yourself. Then we try to say who's starting player. So I'm just gonna be me because I'm the only player. There's just one more thing we have to do. From the starting player on, we choose 2 pacts that we will claim just to start the game with. So I am controlling the wind element, so I won't take the earth pack. So I will take one of those and a neutral element for me. These ones will go up, and then the next player and the next player and the next player will all choose 2 pacts to start the game with. So Wutaki is played in a clockwise order with an undefined number of rounds until the end conditions are met. The 2 end conditions are: one player has at least 100 victory points, or the Pyramid of Doom has been climbed to the top. So every new round we draw a new round card. This one says each player draws a pact from the drawing pile, so we do just that. And we'll see what we get. We get a water pact, which is not too bad for us. So each player will draw that from the starting player on, and then we have 1 turn each in a clockwise order. So what is a turn? A turn says right here, it's a bit blurry, but you see you can put one worker on a visiting area, and then you can fulfill pacts if you want to. That's an option. So I will just simply go here and get, it's just two tokens from the oil, and then the next player can do his turn if I don't want to fulfill any pact, which I could do, but I just don't want to right now. So next player's turn, and that's the turns. A round ends when no player has any worker left in their personal supply, and then we just check if one player has claimed the starting player marker. If that's so, it'll change. If not, the starting player just stays the same. Then we all retrieve our workers. Then we draw a new round card, which says draw true omen when drawing omen. And then the next round begins until the end conditions are met. So now you know how the main game works. Let's just look at the details, at the locations. I will just hide my cards right now. So we will start up here. So in this action, you are able to just pick one of the pacts on the open display. You will get a gold bonus. A gold bonus is displayed up here. So if you take this pact, you will get 2 extra gold. If you take this one, 1 extra gold. And here you will get nothing. If you take one pact, you will take that in your private supply. The pacts to the left are just going to the right, and the new one is displayed. I will just put that back. So that's that action. Here you can just simply give one player one pact from the open display. You lose 2 victory points to do that, but if you find out which element one player is controlling, you can give them negative points, which I will explain in a minute. Here in this action, you just put all the 4 pacts on the discard pile, which is here. Put 4 new pacts in, and you have to pick one, but you don't get the gold bonus. In this location, you can upgrade one of the standard locations or your tower, but that one I will explain when we get the locations down. So, the standard locations. Here you will see the gathering locations where you can get oil, sheep, stone, wood, gold, and you can hire additional workers from your player board. So here we get 2 oil tokens 2 sheep tokens, 2 wood, 2 stone tokens. Here you get 3 gold tokens, that's a different one. And here you can hire 1 additional worker. These places can be upgraded in using this location. If you use an upgrade, you get 4 victory points and you have to pay the X amount of gold, which is displayed over the upgrade levels on the locations. So let's say you want to upgrade the oil dealer right here. You will take one of your upgrade markers, which is this, put it here, pay 6 gold just into the main supply, and from now on, when you visit the location with your worker like this, you will get not 2 oil but 3 oil tokens. And because you are the upgradee, you get a sheep as a bonus. Whenever somebody visits the oil dealer, you get a sheep as a bonus, no matter if it's you or somebody else. So on level 1, you will pay 6 gold to get 3 oil. On level 2, you pay 8 gold to get 4 oil. If you have 2 upgrade markers on one spot, you will get the bonus twice. So these 4 are basically the same. If you upgrade the market, everybody gets 4 gold by visiting, and you get an oil as a bonus, but it costs 8 gold, and level 2 costs 10 gold to upgrade. On the village, it's a little bit different, because you pay 6 gold to upgrade, and from now on, everybody can hire 2 additional workers from their player board, and you get a sheep as a bonus. The hiring action I will show in a minute after I showed you the other locations. So on this location, you will simply draw 1 omen card. On this location, you can play the omen card, which means you just discard the card and say, do what it says. So here you get these resources from every player. So you get a gold and a stone from every player. This omen card is just played once. There are others with an infinity symbol. You can just play them, put them in front of you, and they will have a continuous effect throughout the game. Here you can just trade resources with the main supply. So you, for example, you give 5 sheep and you get 5 gold, if that's possible. Or you can lose up to X victory points, and you get the same amount of resources, of various resources that you would like to have. Here you can claim the starting player marker, but you will have to draw one of the revenge cards. Revenge cards are mainly cards that hinder you in your play. So this card says you can fulfill a maximum of 6 pacts at the end of the game, or you will lose 7 points. Let's put it back. This card says you have to be in first place, or else you will lose 9 points, which is a bummer. So you don't want to have too many revenge cards. So in this action, you either gain 3 victory points, or you can spend 10 various resources from your supply to give away one of your revenge cards to another player, which is always a good idea because you don't want to have them. So this action, whenever you fulfill a pact, let's say I will fulfill this pact, here you see the element, which is wind. Here you see what resources you have to pay to fulfill the pact, which is 3 various resources. You will get 5 victory points and draw an omen card. So let's just do that. I will simply sacrifice these 3 resources. I will get 5 victory points, just as an example, on the 5. Then I will draw 1 omen card, which I will look at later. And now I have this pact fulfilled. What do I do now? I have to advance the Pact tracker, which will give every player an omen card at the place of 2. At 5, every player has to pay their hired additional workers with the resource on their cost marker, which is this symbol. So you have to pay, I have to pay 1 wood for every hired, additional worker which isn't on my player board. If I can't pay, I will have to put them back from right to left. So let's say I couldn't pay, so they're all back on the player board. Then I also have to advance my private tracker from the from the master board, which will give me a bonus of 2 gold, which I will gladly take. So that's the things you have to do when you fulfill a pact. I just did that to show you this action, because if you visit this action, you will plunder the resources sacrificed to the monster. So you put a worker here, you draw 1 revenge card, and you get all the resources that are put on the monster, which is very cool during the game. Then we have 2 more actions. The prison action lets you capture a group of additional workers from 1 player at 1 location. You put them back on their player board, you draw one revenge card, and then you can use the worker you used to do the prison action and put it there where you captured the additional workers, just to do the action yourself, which is very handy because the visiting areas are just limited. And lastly, we have the Pyramid of Doom, which I will show you now. So if you put a worker here, you can visit the Pyramid of Doom. You will sacrifice one of your upgrade markers just to get into the pyramid. You can't use that as an upgrade marker anymore. You will pay the resources on the left. So here you will pay 5 gold and 1 of each resource. You put 1 upgrade marker here, and you get 2 victory points. The next time you visit the pyramid, you will advance your upgrade marker, pay 8 gold and 1 of each resource to get 8 victory points, and the next time you get 14, and the next time you get 20 points, and you will end the game. When the game is ended, each other player has another turn, and then the final scoring commences. As I mentioned earlier, I will explain the village action right now. So if you put a worker here, you can hire an additional worker or up to 2 additional workers, and then you will go to your main board, your player board, which is this, and down here you see your additional workers. So I just flip the camera a little bit to see better. So the first 4 additional workers are just simple workers. If you hire one, you get them for free. Now you see that the next one costs 2 resources of your cost marker. So for me, the next one would cost 2 wood, which I would pay. The next one costs 2 wood, the next one 2. And then the last one, the 5th additional worker, which is the special worker, costs 2 resources of your cost marker and 2 gold. Now, what's so special about this one? He's a special worker and he can do every action twice. So if you, for example, want to play an omen card, he can play 2 omen cards instead of 1, and so he's very powerful. Or you can draw 2 omen, pick the double amount of resources available, or you can choose 2 pacts and get the gold bonus if that suits you. So that's the hiring action. Another small detail is worker spaces. You have the standard worker space, which is this, without any people symbol in them. They are always available for you to put workers in. So they're always available for 2 players. When you're playing with 3 players, these worker spaces with 3 figures in it are additionally available. And with 4 players, these are also available. So you can't use the 4-player worker spaces with 3 players or 2 players, and these you can't use with 2 players. So keep that in mind, because the worker spaces where you can put your workers to use actions are limited due to the amount of players you're playing with. So I told you about the upgrading the standard locations. You can also upgrade your Tower of Power, which will be shown with these cards. I just take them down here just to show you better. So the right spot is reserved for a resource upgrade, which will cost you 8 gold, and basically you will get 1 more resource whenever you visit one of the standard locations up here. So if you pay 8 gold, you take one of the cards, put it here, put an upgrade marker on, you can lock it so you won't fiddle around, and whenever you visit the lumberjack you will get 1 more wood. So at the start you get 2 wood. With a card, with an upgrade you get 3, then you get 3 plus 1 and 4 plus 1, so a total of 5 wood. The left side, the upgrade costs 10 gold and is an elemental upgrade, which will give you one of these 4 cards. So for example, yeah, let's do this. I just take the water elemental upgrade and I explain that to you right now. Because at the start of the game you get a character card. I got Xulu, the Master of Wind. At the end of the game I get 3 additional points for each Wind Pact I have fulfilled. But I also get 5 minus points for each Earth Pact that I have claimed or fulfilled. So I have 2 neutral elements. You see the anti-elements right here. So if you control fire, you don't want to have water pacts. If you control earth, you don't want to have wind pacts, and so on and so on. So you can get the elemental upgrade to gain more points for the neutral elements, if that makes sense to you. So now I get 3 victory points for each wind pact, and now I also get 1 victory point for each water pact that I have fulfilled at the end of the game. Let's have a look at the master board, which is one of the last things we have to look at. Each time you fulfill a pact, you advance your marker, and when you put the marker on one icon, you get those things. So here you get 2 gold, here you will get 2 omen cards, here you will get 2 resources of your cost marker, which in my case is 2 wood. Here I will draw another secret pact, and at the end, at pact 9, I will get 5 extra victory points, and the symmetrical masterboard is finished. And then we will just look at the final scoring. When the end conditions are met, we will just take these 1 step at a time for every player. So first we will look at the revenge cards. If you remember, just take one here. We will have a look. I have to be in the first place, or else I will lose 9 points. So if I am in the first place, I will lose no points. If I'm not in the first place, I will lose 9 points. Let's just take another one. Fulfill a maximum of 6 pacts, which I would say is okay, but mainly you will have at least like 7, 8, or 9 pacts you have fulfilled at the end of the game. So I will probably get 7 minus points. The next thing is we will look at unfulfilled pacts. If I have claimed any pacts, like so, and I have not fulfilled them, then I will get minus 8 points for each unfulfilled pact. The next thing is the secret pact. So let's say this player collect the most revenge cards at the end of the game, and then you will get 12 points. Well, it's a good card to have if you want to play a little dirty. The next thing is the pacts. So just for the sake of this video, I put some pacts here which this player just fulfilled in his game. So he controls water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he gets 15 extra points at the end of the game in this step 4. He has fulfilled 1 fire pact, so he gets minus 5 points. The next step, for these two, he doesn't get points because they're just neutral and he doesn't have an elemental upgrade, so no points for those two. In step 5, every player gets 1 victory point for each fulfilled pact from his controlled element. So Kalito here right now would get 1 point for each water pact fulfilled by any other player, and any other player would get victory points for his fulfilled pacts. And in step 6, you get 3 points for 5 resources of the same type. So at the end of the game, if you have 5 gold, you get 3 points. For 5 wood, you get 3 points, and so on and so on. And then the player with the most points wins the game. So I really hope I gave a good explanation of the game, and you have fun playing Wutaki on Tabletopia. I hope you enjoyed so much that you will support us on Kickstarter when it goes live. And I will give you some tips for playing the first few rounds until you get to know the game a little bit. So, what's always good in the first few rounds is upgrading the standard locations so you have just a more effective way of playing and getting resources, and just getting the chance to fulfill more pacts while you're playing. It also it makes the game go a lot faster just because you get more resources. At the beginning, I would recommend to just claim some high pointage, if you say so, pacts, like maybe with 13 victory points or something, or just like this one, if you can get a pact to fulfill and passively hiring additional workers, that's also very cool and makes your game just a lot more faster. And also those pacts are great where you get omen cards because they are really handy and very powerful in the game. That's the next part. Always have a good amount of omen cards at hand because having the right action at the right time is always very, very cool. Always keep in mind the amount of resources that are sacrificed on the monster, and when it's time to take the blunder action, just do it. Just there's no better way to get resources than down here. And the revenge cards, you don't want to have them, but if you are probably okay to have. The next action is the prison action. That's really, really cool, really handy. Some spaces are crowded really early in the game, and if you're not the first player, if you're the last player, just use the prison action and you can do some things that are just crowded really early. Then also keep in mind the pact tracker down here. When the 5th pact is fulfilled, like so, every player has to pay for their additional workers. and if you can't pay them, they will go back to the player board, and maybe you will end up in your turn without some workers, so always keep that in mind. And last but not least, always try to figure out which elements the other players are controlling. Maybe there's some small social deduction parts in the game, because if you find out what elements they control, you can give them some negative points and just make them work for their victory points. And that's it. I hope you will enjoy the game, and let me know.